We'll just say that we do have a new long snapper. Trent Sieg, S-I-E-G, will be our new long snapper, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can.
What made you guys want to bring Martavis back?
Well, I think he's in a good place right now. I think he's healthy. I think he's ready to go. And I'm sold on that. We've been in contact with him since he has been away. And as I said, when we made the trade to get him, when he's right, he can be a difference maker. And we're hoping that he can be one sooner than later.
After you guys waived him, you said that there were other players in camp who had outperformed him. What changed between them?
Well, I think, one of the reasons he was outperformed is he was inconsistently available. I mean, he was sick. He had lingering problems. But I think he's in a really good place right now. And I've seen him in a really good place. And when he's in a really good place, he can be a really good player in this league. He's proven that.
I know the NFL doesn't really tell its clubs much when it comes to player discipline issues. How difficult has it been to navigate Martavis' place in this team, not knowing what his status is with the league?
I don't comment on that. That's not for my business, let alone me to talk about here today. But this is a young player that has great talent, and we're happy to have him back. He's in a great place right now. I'll just leave it at that.
Can he play right away?
We're going to see. We'll see. We'll see where he is in terms of his assignments. We're going to give him plenty of opportunities to play, yes.
Anything more, guys?
How's the outlook for Justin Ellis and P.J. Hall after you got a chance to look at them?
Well, we'll see. It doesn't. I've had better days. We'll see. Today will tell us a lot.
Looking at the Broncos tape week one, obviously a little familiar with them going into that game, but was there anything that you saw that actually shocked you heading into week two that gave you some more, reasons to worry? Or
Keenum. I think Case Keenum at the end of the year might be the number one acquisition in football. I think he's a great quarterback. What he did last year, the performance he laid down in Minnesota, he solidifies them at that position. They struggled last year. They went through a lot of different quarterbacks. I know he had a couple interceptions last week, but this kid can really play. He's a great competitor. They have outstanding receivers. And, look, they've always had a great defense. And when they have had stability at quarterback, they've proven they can win a world championship. So we'll have our hands full. I know that. We're excited to get ready.
Just quite a lot of a different challenge in that a lot of their pressure will come outside from Miller and Chubb as opposed to a lot of the Rams' interior stuff with Sue and Donald.
Well, they have all kinds of pressure. They have all the blitzes that you can draw up. They have that type of pressure you have to deal with. They'll put 3 or 4 of those defensive ends out there together. They have Shane Ray, Shaquille Barrett. Chubb's a top 5 pick. So they can apply pressure inside or outside with their 4-man rush. They can also get home with an array of blitzes. And they have a talented secondary. Roby and Adam Jones now to go with Chris Harris makes this a real challenge in the noise.
Are you guys going to bring in help at defensive tackle?
Well, that's a distinct possibility with the injuries that are mounting here. But yes, that is a possibility.
I'll get more specific. Is Jonathan Hankins coming?
You're getting warm. You're getting warm. Yes, he is a possibility. Clint McDonald's name is a possibility. You guys cover us every day. I'm not going to hide from the facts. We have some injuries right now that have caused us to look into a couple player situations. Not that we're going to sign them both, but they are certainly on the radar.
If I remember correctly, Clint McDonald is someone who visited here back in March that did not come to fruition. Mm-hmm. Were you guys hoping at the time it would?
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that played nose tackle for Tampa. He played for Gunther in Cincinnati, but he plays nose tackle for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Gerald McCoy was the 3 technique, and when Gerald got hurt, McDonald played the 3. So he's got versatility to play the nose or the 3. Hankins is a big guy that has had good experiences in this league. He got a big contract to go to the Colts, so I don't want to make any commitments that they're going to be Raiders, but we are looking into their situations.
Touched on it a little bit yesterday, but what did you think about Townsend's first game as punter?
I thought it was good. We judge it by a lot of different things. He's a good holder, and it starts right there. He put the ball down great for our place kicker. He doesn't give up a lot of returns. He's not careless with his accuracy, and he handled some difficult snaps against a pretty good rush in his first game. So I was proud of him.
He nailed one pretty good when he was when he was deep
Yeah, he
in
did.
the end zone. I think that was kind of a little bit of a concern with him. Is his leg big enough to kick you out of the end zone?
I think it is. I think it's big enough. You know, if we can get, like I said, if we can get the net, if we can get the 43-yard net in that area, that'll be good. There's a guy in Kansas City we don't want to kick the ball to. I saw him the other day. As soon as I sat down, he was dancing. So directional punting, minimizing the returns is a big part of Johnny Townsend's strengths and why he's here.
Not to get ahead of ourselves on McDonald, but he did sign with the Broncos, spent the offseason there. Generally speaking, just to avoid the specifics of his situation, is there value there when a player has spent an extended period of time with an opponent and he comes here with familiarity?
Quarterback, maybe. You know, the quarterback might have a little bit more big picture. Not that Clinton doesn't, but, you know, normally the defensive linemen, they kind of stick to their world. And, again, I don't want to get into his situation much more than that, but we'll let you know.
Coach, there was a few momentum-killing penalties, you know, last week. Now, probably an obvious answer. How do you cut down on the penalties for this week? And
Well, the false starts are inexcusable. We had one in the red zone going in on our opening possession. We had one backed up. We got to eliminate those. The pass interference penalties were the biggest penalties in the game. They resulted in almost 80 yards of penalties. Changed field position, changed that game. Just keep working. Keep working hard on minimizing penalties, self-inflicted wounds that get you beat.
yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at. Those mental lapses, how do you eliminate them?
Well, we can't make those penalties. You know, you gotta find the ball quicker. You know, you can't commit those types of penalties. Pass interference is the most devastating penalty of all, especially on down the field passes. It's like giving up the play itself. So we got to do a much better job of coaching it. We got to do a much better job finding the ball and playing the ball, not the man.
As you've returned to coaching, you've returned to some of the not so enjoyable parts of it.
I love it all, man. I love it all. I love this right here. I'm having a blast. I am. We're building the Raiders. We're going to continue to lay blocks. And go ahead. What's your question?
I was going to ask in terms of player injuries, cuts, some of those conversations that you have to have with players, guys like Keon Hatcher.
That's tough, man. It's really tough. There's been a lot of rollover here, a lot of turnover. And I put the starting opening day defense on paper a couple days ago, and I looked at it. And we have had to make a lot of changes. And we're in the process now of dealing with injuries, and we have to make more changes. And it's not fun. It's tough. It is tough, but it's part of the process. It's painful at times, but there's going to be a reward at the end of this.
When you were looking at the film from Monday, and specifically as it relates to pass rush, I'm sure you guys didn't get there as much as you would have wanted. Some of it was bootlegs where there's kind of nobody in the neighborhood. How much of it was scheme and how much of it was just being one-on-one matchups for the linemen?
Well, I think we got pressure in the first half. I think we got home once, caused a fumble, almost got the ball back. Like I said yesterday or whenever it was, when you can run the ball as well as they ran it and the style of offense that they play, it's hard to cut loose the rush when it's 2nd and 4 or 3rd and 3. You know, you got Gurley standing back there and they're putting the ball in his gut. You don't know if he has it or not. They were able to dictate a lot of things with their down and distance and their ability to mix the run, the play action pass, and these jet sweeps. It's going to be hard for anybody to rush the Rams unless you get them behind in the chains. You got to get them in 2nd and 10. You got to win on 1st down, and you got to get them in 3rd and long where you can cut loose your blitzes and some of your great rushers.
Time for two more, guys. Two more.
Coach, you had briefly touched on this after the game, but how important is it to get Amari untracked and maybe the difficulty of trying to do that when Chris Harris is standing on the other side?
You know, it's important to get everybody on track. You know, Amari had one catch. He had one called back. We went to him 3 or 4 other times. The ball didn't go there. We had a tight end break a franchise record for yards. You know, we exploited that matchup. I felt we could have got more out of that as well. We thought our running back, Richard, had a great matchup. We tried to target that. If we had more 1st downs in the second half, had more time of possession, perhaps we would have seen more Cooper. But you look at the film, we had him open, wide open, deep. We didn't go there. He was open a couple times, and for whatever reason, we didn't go that route. But, yeah, we want to get him going, and that's easier said than done now.
Martavis Bryant's presence just as a deep threat, what does that do for your other wide receivers just by him being on the field and the threat that he represents?
Well, he's a guy that's proven he can go up and get the deep ball in contested situations. He can run away from you. He can make you miss. He can make big plays down the field. That's an obvious. But we're hoping that we can bottle up where he is now. He's in a great place. He's healthy. He's ready to go. He's got a great state of mind, and we'll see what happens.